Happy Friday, Notre Dame fans. Mike Sear and Kyle Kelly live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel with a ton to discuss in the world of Notre Dame football recruiting. The Irish starting off the month of May with a new commitment. We're going to dive into that in just a moment. Folks, if you're watching live on YouTube, you're watching this back, whatever the case may be, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Help support what we're doing here at Blue and Gold. Subscribe. If you are new around here and if you're listening to this as a podcast, appreciate you as well. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. Gotta plug this real quick. ROBAC has a new polo that is sweet, and I just did a big ROBAC order not too long ago, and now I'm like, oh, I guess I got to do another one here soon. The Notre Dame Dancing Clover. This thing looks incredible. I love this. For podcast audience, I'm not even going to describe it to you. You just got to go to robac.com, RHOBACK.com. Use a promo code BLUEGOLD20 on ROBAC for a generous 20% off for new customers. That's RHOBACK.com, 20% off all performance polo shorts and more when you use that promo code. Again, one word, right? BLUEGOLD20. Use it at ROBAC and pick up this awesome, the Notre Dame Dancing Clover. The entire Notre Dame line is awesome. I have most of it except for that Dancing Clover. Now I got to pick that up, Kyle. Think it would look good on the golf course. That's just me. Just me.
Can't beat white this time of year.
There you go. And Kyle, yeah, you're engaged, brother. I don't know if I ever say congratulations publicly. So
boy, it's 3 months now. March, April, May, yeah.
Well, congrats. Kyle is going to be tying the knot probably when Notre Dame plays A&M that day.
About 54 weeks, so pencil it in. We actually probably got to talk about that eventually, but yeah, we're zeroing in on that date.
So that's next May?
Yeah.
And May is a great month to get married for our jobs, Kyle. I got married June.
If Chad Bowden can get married in May, I think I can too. So that's kind of how I saw it.
You know, when summer official visits used to not be a thing for the longest time. I got married in June of 2018, and that was the first year that summer official visits were a thing. And of course, the schools I was covering at the time all did summer official visits, and I was like, of course. When we planned that date, we did not know that was even a thing. Got Lotus, Kaysen, Roger in the chat. What's going on, everyone? New commitment for the Irish. Kobe Clapper, 4-star per the On3 industry ranking. Each individual website has him as a high 3, and then Rivals has him as a 4. So I think like the average works out there for him to be the nation's number 372 overall player, number 30 linebacker, according to the On3. Again, On3 industry ranking from Cincinnati St. Xavier. Big commitment for the Irish a long time. This was a pot of gold offer last March, if I'm remembering correctly, Kyle, from a big-time school. Notre Dame just signed Gordy Solstead from St. X in the 2025 cycle. And then, I mean, we'll talk more about the recruitment in a minute, but, you know, in terms of, like, the timing of it, like, he didn't, like, put out, hey, I'm committing on Friday, May 2nd. He just dropped it, you know, at like 8:30 in the morning, and then but the decision for him to commit to the Irish was not a surprise, Kyle.
Yeah, and just to kind of give some of the YouTube and podcast audience a little bit of a taste of my 5 thoughts column that I put up on the site after his commitment, I pretty much led that off by saying, you know, we've been prepared. I mean, it's the best way to put it. We've been prepared for this to happen for about 4 weeks. We expected Kobe Clapper on campus for the Blue Gold game, but he had a personal circumstance arise that didn't allow him to get to South Bend that day. But pretty much ever since then, you know, we've been kind of on alert in a sense, tweet notifications on and everything like that for Kobe Clapper to potentially commit to Notre Dame.
Kyle, if you don't mind, I want to get to his recruitment in a second, but you've seen him in person. Like, what let's talk about the film, then we'll dive into the recruitment. I'm sorry to kind of lead it off like that, but what do you think about him as a player?
Boy, I don't know if we got my file video anywhere from when I saw him back in when was it? It was last football season. It was for a St. X and Muller game. But yeah, I love this pickup for Notre Dame. The one thing that I can pretty much say about Kobe Clapper, he's very instinctive. He's a high IQ football player. I mean, he's a high academic kid at St. X, values the education and everything like that. So not a surprise that his smarts translate to the football field. And that's a big deal for, Max Bola and with the makeup of his Notre Dame linebackers room. Like, this is something I, talked about with Bola at, I think it was the Sugar Bowl media day, one of the media days during the college football playoff when they had the assistants available for one-on-one media interviews. I caught up with Max Bola and I was just talking about Madden Faramo's recruitment and kind of the benefits of where he played his high school football, him and Kingston Villiamuasa specifically, in that, they came from a pretty highly competitive high school football league, great coaching. Both those guys are ready to hit the ground running once they got to Notre Dame. I know with Villiamuasa, specifically, Coach Bola has basically called him a pro's pro for a college sophomore. And Clapper and Thomas Davis Jr. are kind of in that category for that matter. Both those guys, big time football smarts. I mean, with Thomas Davis Jr. is, pretty obvious with his father being Thomas Davis, a longtime NFL linebacker who was a Pro Bowler. And with Clapper, you really see his ability to handle a lot on his plate on Friday. You see that shine on Friday nights because they put him in a lot of different spots. I'm sure you've seen it in the film. I mean, he can line up on the edge, lines up at middle linebacker, lines up at will. I think, don't quote me, but I think, yeah, right there. He's maybe
like off ball.
outside. Yeah, like kind of a safety position as
Mhm.
well. So very versatile, very instinctive. So he'll give Max Bola and the Notre Dame defense quite the chess piece once he gets up to campus.
Yeah, I mean, they're look how far back he is there in that like 3-3-5 look. He plays everywhere. This definitely seems like a Notre Dame type backer, sideline to sideline. Notre Dame loves setting their their linebackers after the quarterback, and of course Notre Dame has a defensive coordinator change. But in hiring Chris Ash, it was I think a big reason for that was to have continuity and not really blow up. Like, hey, we're not going to be now running a 4-4, or like a 5. They're not going to do something crazy. It's going to be similar. Like, I know Chris Ash has simplified the defense in a lot of ways, but it's going to be fairly similar. Might see a little bit more zone, but Chris Ash again not looking to reinvent the wheel here. And but anyways, Kobe Clapper just being like a sideline to sideline guy, plays downhill so much, just seems like a great fit for what Notre Dame does defensively. And I'm just curious of like, does he have some measurable or verified time that was not very good? Like, why is Kobe Clapper ranked where he's at? Like, yeah, I'm the Notre Dame guy. What are the chances that I'm going to think a Notre Dame guy should be ranked higher, right? But man, 3 of the 4 websites having this kid ranked where he is really interesting to me, Kyle. And the stats, very productive as well. 14-game junior season in which he led St. X to the Ohio Region 4 state championship game. 105 tackles, 11 and a half of those being for loss, 4.5 sacks, a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 PBUs. I mean, what like I don't know. I'm very curious. I'm looking forward to hearing from On3's Charles Power about this because seems like a no-brain, at least 4-star guy to me. I mean, maybe inside the national rankings, but that's just one man's opinion.
I think he was actually rated as a 4-star by On3.
Initially, yeah.
Yeah, so not, you'll be able to get some clarification there. But one thing with Clapper is, we've talked about this on the message board, is that he really isn't like, what's the word? He's not a big recruiting guy.
He's not a big
I
recruiting
mean,
guy.
he's and I know some of the coaching staffs, there was a little bit of frustration about, maybe the amount of communication with him throughout the process. I don't think he's a pretty much like your just like no nonsense type of guy. Like
Yeah.
show up and play football, like all the other extra stuff. Like it is what it is. He's grateful to be, a part of the process and recruited and everything like that and everything that comes with it. But definitely did not lean into that a whole lot. So with that said, I don't know if we have like a lot of testing numbers on him. I don't know if
Sure.
we have a 40-yard dash and some of those numbers that can help uh, inform a ranking.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's part of it, because when you put on the tape, and I know Tim Hyde's probably going to feel the same way, is this is a big time pickup for Notre Dame and definitely a 4-star type of player.
Yeah. Looking at the offer list, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Ohio State, Tennessee, Michigan, Wisconsin, Oregon, Penn State. List goes on. I really think this one ended up being Notre Dame and Oregon, and he had never even visited Oregon. So, yeah, when we got word that, hey, this kid's going to be visiting for the Blue Gold game, and as Kyle mentioned earlier, that ended up needing to be canceled last minute due to just a personal circumstance. It was like, all right, let's get this thing ready. So that article I posted when he committed, that was I had to clean it up a little bit, but yeah, I wrote that the morning of the Blue Gold game. And it was just like a situation where it's like, all right, it felt like a matter of time before he committed. And I never thought it was going to hit summer official visits. Visited Notre Dame 4 times, made it to campus March 28th. To go back to your point, Kyle, about just he's not a big recruiting kid. Like I was told it was like a day or two before that visit and March 28th for the first spring practice that he was just like, he informed Notre Dame, like, hey, I'm coming up with Gordy. They weren't like, hey, like, let's, like, there wasn't like a long back and forth about when you're going to visit. Just like, hey, I'm visiting. Made it for junior day at the end of January. Saw the Notre Dame was that Louisville game last year, and then first spring practice in 2024. So Notre Dame really hitting all of the. I mean, you would have liked to have them for last summer for like a cookout or a camp or something, but otherwise, you want to get the kids on campus for the sophomore, their spring year, summer going into their junior year, a game for their junior season, and then going into their next year, junior day, and then another spring practice when they're a junior. So Notre Dame really hitting on all of those kind of key seasons to get a prospect on campus. So a really nice commitment for Notre Dame. The number 4 overall class as we record this in the country. Last year's class, of course, was 12. Will Notre Dame keep in the top 5? It's probably unlikely, but 13 commitments, Kyle. A class score of 92.45, which you see last year's was 91.47. So a nice jump. And 10 of your 13 commitments are 4-star prospects right now, which is solid. And just for a quick peek inside how the national rankings are done at On3, only the top 7 commits are used in this score. So USC has 25 commits right now. Only your top 7 are used because that is the average number of commits in the Power 5 level, Power 4, I should say. So Notre Dame, your 13 commits, only 7 of them used. So you have your Notre Dame's average rating for recruit, right? Kobe Clapper's rating is an 89.02. When you look here on the team rankings page, Notre Dame's average rating per recruit's a 90.79. But when you just take the top 7, it's a 92.449. So that's how that works. So again, nice pickup for the Irish. Second linebacker commits and the 13th verbal in the class. So yeah, nice get for the Irish. That is going to be a separate YouTube video because we did not record one with Tim Hyde, as we often do for these, because I did not know when this one was going to happen. I love it for Clapper. Of course, for us, it's like, trying to spend some time with the girls this morning, being my daughter and my wife. And, then I look at my phone, Jack Sobel's calling me. I'm like, why is Jack calling me? I was like, then I found it. But yeah, Kyle. Nice kid too. When you've got to talk to him, I've interacted with him a few times. Nice kid.
Yeah, super great. I love Kobe. I know we get questions on the Loose Emoji message board about some of our players that we like to cover, like to interview, like to talk to the most, and Kobe is one of those guys for me. He's just a super nice kid. So it obviously values his high school friendships and spending time with his teammates and his teachers and coaches while he's down at St. X. And yeah, I know he's built some pretty strong relationships with, multiple schools and coaches and people from college football programs, but he's got his priorities set straight right now, and
Yeah.
luckily for Notre Dame, ends up working out in their favor.
Yeah. Talking to parents over the years, sometimes the parents will just apologize, be like, sorry, my son just like he just doesn't really like all the spotlight. He doesn't like doing all the interviews. Like he's a great kid. You'll talk to him, he's a great kid, but he just doesn't really care about doing these interviews. And Kobe definitely kind of fits that. And I always tell them I love it. Personally, I love it. I don't like my offensive linemen to be dropping a top 10 and then a top 6 and then a top 3 and then a commitment, or some kids just, dang, USC just got Elbert Hill from Akron. Dang, USC kind of cooking right now. Look, I know it's not good to say in Notre Dame land, but just to finish that thought, Kobe Clapper's that's my kind of linebacker. Like physical, sideline to sideline, versatile, doesn't give a damn about doing an interview, but when he does, great interview. So let me do this real quick, Kyle, so you guys can see. I don't really want to spend too much time on USC, but I'm just curious. So once this updates on their commit page, how much that makes them jump in their class score, because Elbert Hill's the number 4 corner in the country. This is a nice get, number 35 overall player, so that's a borderline 5-star player. So we'll come back to that. But Kyle, it's a great start to Notre Dame's class, and it was slow there for a minute, and like, all right, like what is Notre Dame doing? Just like, look, you got to be patient. Let Mike Martin and the recruiting staff kind of figure things out, and they'll start cooking. Rodney Dunham, 5-star. Notre Dame didn't even seem to have much momentum for him for a while, and then because he hadn't visited in a year, visits, commits. Ebenezer Uatade, on 3 might end up having as a 5-star. Tyler Merrill. I mean, look at all of these top 200 players. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 commits in the top 200 of the national rankings. Kyle, like, will it end up dropping? Will it stay top 5? Probably not. But I think that Notre Dame's going to have its first top 10 class according to the industry rankings since 23. It was class 2023, I think, finished 10. So it's been a couple years.
Yeah. This is the way the class is tracking right now. Certainly looks like it's going to be that way, and especially with the profile of the recruits that they're bringing in for official visits in June. When you look at like the Joey O'Briens, who's top 100 recruit, Javon Osborne, who's committing on Saturday. We all think that's going to be Notre Dame for now. That's where the predictions are, and that's where he's trending on the On3 recruiting prediction machine, and he's another top 100 guy, or borderline top 100 guys. So right there, those are 2 more that Notre Dame could potentially add to its commit list. I don't think we even had a really chance to touch on Aiden Pouncey a whole lot because he committed on Saturday. I mean, what a pickup that was, especially I know there's a lot of people that love the way he plays and they love his film, and his ranking is pretty strong as well. So that was another big one. So this is just a start for Notre Dame, I think. We're expecting a couple more commitments this month, I think. Potentially if Osborne jumps in the class on Saturday, then Tiki Hola commits on May 10th between Notre Dame and SMU. He's not the highest ranked guys, but there's other guys on the board that we're closely monitoring as well. So big time hat tip to the Notre Dame recruiting staff for the momentum they've built here on the trail. They got they had 5 or 6 commits going into the spring, and now that number's up to 13. So
yeah,
pretty good nod to the efforts of Mike Martin, Carter Allman, Jordan Blake, Myron Tagovailoa, Mosa,
Yep.
Becca Seitz, that whole crew doing a
Yeah.
great job.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got your quarterback, you got two elite pass rushers, really solid offensive line class. Like when I look at like a football team in general, it's like the quarterback's most important spot. So what's the next two most important spots? Protecting your quarterback and getting after the other team's quarterback. So the offensive line class is really solid. Gregory Patrick, I think, is outstanding. Can be like an Anthony Knapp for the Irish, where you think he's a guard. He's going to play tackle. Tyler Merrill's just a beast inside. Ben Nichols and Sullivan Garvin, solid. And then you could end up with Grayson McHugh or Kenny Agboko. And then, again, Rodney Dunham and Ebenezer Uwatade. Al Washington is simply cooking in the 2026 class. And Noah Grubbs is, he's not going to win many 40-yard dash competitions, but the arm, what he's seen starting in the Orlando area since a freshman at the high school level, all the records he's going to be breaking by the time he graduates from high school. Get a couple running backs, see what they do at tight end. I mean, I've got them training for Evan Jacobson, a big-time tight end from I just forget where all these tight ends are from. I think he's Iowa. See about, landing an offensive tackle, interior defensive line. They look to be at a good spot with multiple guys. Alistair Veheo, is that how you're pronouncing his last name, Kyle?
I'm leaving that one up to you. That sounds right, though. 2 L's is a Y.
Most of the time. Yeah, Alistair is a guy who Notre Dame's absolutely loving. They offered him a couple weeks ago in Blue and Gold first report. He's taking his official visit. And then, in the secondary, Joey O'Brien, Nick Reddish, they seem to be trending for. So, when we do these mock classes and stuff and like who we're predicting to the Irish, if these things work out and these kids commit to Notre Dame, I mean, this is going to be I don't want to hype you guys up and get you too excited, but this has got the chance to be. I mean, 2022 was a really special class. 23 was awesome. I mean, 20 was it 15? Some of these classes are before my time. I think like 2015 was really good. So, or was it 17? Anyways, Notre Dame's got a real shot to sign their best class in quite a long time. It's exciting. Wide receiver, Caden Finley, Braden Robinson. We'll talk about those two guys in a second. I think I've got picks in for Notre Dame to land both of them. Kyle, that RPM check-in story that you recommended me do, it's on the list. But as you know, with me, I do a lot of interviews and have all these articles, and I don't have time to fit them all in the day, so they end up getting pushed back. But it's on the list. But any other thoughts on this 26 group for the Irish before we move on?
Love the way it's coming together, especially with the guys they're bringing in on official visits. I think tight end recruiting should be. Every time I talk about tight end recruiting, I think of Henry is cool 123 from the Loose Emoji message board. He is the biggest tight end guy you will ever find out there. But yeah, tight end recruiting should be coming along here pretty soon. I know they don't have any commits there, but are getting close. Running back, pretty good shape. We'll see what happens at wide receiver with the two guys down in Texas. D-line, also love the way that's heading. And with linebacker, I mentioned this in my 5 thoughts with, TJ Davis and Kobe Clapper, having those two guys. I mean, I know they have Tank King on the board as well, and that's one we could certainly see ending up at Notre Dame. But, Coach Bola can be pretty focused on who he wants to target from here on out. I know Talanoa Ili from Hawaii, a highly ranked national recruit, is someone that's going to visit Notre Dame in June. And even though USC's got some momentum for him, Oregon's had momentum in the past. It'll be his first Notre Dame visit, but with those, Polynesian guys, once they get up on the campus, not even just necessarily Polynesian recruits, but, we've seen it, with Kingston Viliamuasa and Madden Framo and all those guys that once they get up to campus that Notre Dame can really make a big move. So You know, linebacker recruiting I just mentioned, defensive back. I think we like the way it's coming together as well. So lots of optimism, lots of things to be excited about, and I think we're going to see, as you mentioned earlier, probably a top 10 finish for Notre
Yeah,
Dame in the
I think
recruiting
so.
cycle.
This is really like Kyle and I just love football recruiting. Like that's our job. So I know there's a lot of USC angst. This is a Notre Dame show, but just to kind of look at this was before I refresh the page. USC had 25 commits. Their score was 94.259. Here it is after 26 commits, 94.517. So a 0.3 jump in the class rankings is significant. I mean, it's 0.3 might not sound like a lot, but it is with how close these end up being. And that, I mean, it's a pretty sizable gap though between 1 and 2 and 3. So um, yeah, it's interesting. You got USC and Chad Bowden, LSU and Brian Kelly, and then Ohio State and Notre Dame in the 4 spot. It's a really good. I mean, Notre Dame's if they're able to hover around there. Yeah, I mean, this would be. I mean, like the 22 class was good, really good, right? Here's the 22 class with a 92.594. Notre Dame is almost there, with just 13 commits, and I don't really want to dive into too much of it, but it is easier to kind of grow that score as you land more of your top guys. So it's definitely doable. It is definitely doable. So, Kyle, the Notre Dame coaching staff hit the road earlier this week. Want to just kind of talk about some of the important visits that the staff made. I'll kind of just give you the floor and kind of bounce off your takes and give a couple of my own. But any real notable ones for you that you'd want to touch on?
I don't know if this can be as notable for me as it is for Notre Dame fans, but things are ramping up with 2027 quarterback recruiting. I know you've done some reporting on that. Gino Guidugli's been out to see several guys, a couple highly touted prospects down in Louisiana that are on Notre Dame's radar. He went to go see, he saw Nussmeier in Texas, right?
Yep.
So I forget his first name. Do you have it offhand?
Colton Nussmeier.
Yeah, so Colton Nussmeier down in Texas, brother of Garrett Nussmeier at LSU, who Mike Denbrock obviously coached. And I think Denbrock, when he was at, within the last year, obviously on Notre Dame's staff, I think he also made a trip to go see Nussmeier down in Texas. So that's one I'm pretty curious about them offering. They saw another quarterback down in one of my favorite cities in the entire United States just because of its name. Waxahachie? Is that how you say it? Hopefully I said that right. But yeah, so 27 quarterback recruiting should ramp up here pretty soon. And I know it is, by the way, I think I kind of have that same cup that you just drank. What cup is that?
You definitely don't have.
Hold on.
Maybe like a similar ballpark. Yeah, 27 quarterback recruiting. I actually just did an article on this, so folks can find that on blueandgold.com. Lucky Charms, Intel Notre Dame 2027 quarterback recruiting. Let's see the cup, Kyle.
I'm back. Okay, so hopefully my fellow Cleveland sports fans do not see this, but look what we have here. Pittsburgh Pirates. I went to a Pittsburgh Pirates game.
How the hell did you think that looked the same as this?
You ready?
It's a stretch, bro. It's not. I mean,
just when I first saw that, I saw
okay,
the.
all right.
I mean, it's obvious that
yeah,
Coca-Cola has these same
but that
design.
is so
Real
ugly,
quick,
just
what
like the
is this?
jarring red.
Aramark, is that your brand as well?
Oh, okay, Kyle.
Churchill container.
Does not say. I was a season ticket holder for Atlanta United, and they're terrible. So I don't go to those games anymore. But
by the way, I don't have any issues with you calling that Pittsburgh Cup ugly because everything Pittsburgh is ugly, in my opinion.
Listen, my whole family's from Pittsburgh, I'm the only one who's born in the South. But that cup, like, just it's yellow and black, and then it's just like bam, red strip. It's like I don't like it.
Coca-Cola's got to have their influence on it. So
Mm,
PNC Park went to that's probably the most beautiful ballpark in the MLB. We went there for Father's Day a couple
I
years ago.
haven't been there. They didn't renovate it, right? It's still the same one as forever. If that's the case, I went there when I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. I loved following baseball back then, and yeah, I've been to more baseball stadiums than I've not to get too off track, but I've been to San Francisco's, I've been to Miami's, obviously like Atlanta, the Trop, it's no longer the Race Stadium anymore because the storms. But I've been to a few. That's like surprise. I've been to the Cubs Stadium, Wrigley. I've been outside of Fenway. There's definitely others as we continue on. I'll be like, oh yeah, I've been in that one too. Anyways, coaches on the road. Mike Brown he started the week with some 2027 visits, and then was like, all right, when are you going to see some 2026s? He did that yesterday. Was that yesterday? I think so. Yeah. Caden Finley and Braden Robinson, 2 huge targets for the Irish in the 26th class. Juwan Sider saw Javon Osborne, who we'll talk about in a second. I thought that was funny, is like Finley, Robinson, Osborne, Notre Dame all seeing them in the same day. 2 weeks ago, I did that same trip. But I'm just one guy. That was a lot of freaking driving around the DFW that I did. Mike Denbrock has seen all of his top 2026 guys. Gino Gaduli saw the number 1 quarterback in the on-3 industry ranking on what's today? Yeah, there's just been yesterday as well. Elijah Haven, 6'4", 205 pounds. In Louisiana, 3 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the 27 class
That's
right now
crazy.
are all from Louisiana. So it's like, LSU's going to get one of those, and we'll see the rest. And Peyton Houston is the one on that board that I think kind of has the most attention right now. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's where Gino is today, since he's already in Louisiana. Yeah, talks about Denbrock. Mike Biggins seeing his top targets. What's up?
If I could clarify, just because I think I did write this story, I believe Gino did see Houston earlier this week.
Did he?
Yeah, he saw him and Ziegler on the same day, because Houston's down. Peyton Houston, that is in Shreveport, and then Malachi's in Benton. I don't know how close those are.
You are correct.
So, yeah.
That was on April 30. I did not even read that story, Kyle. I'm so sorry, bro.
Which is funny because you gave me feedback on how well I did writing it. So,
oh well, I skimmed it and I saw that you didn't. Kyle likes to go above and beyond. You tell him to mow your lawn, and he'll do all of the landscaping. He'll mow the lawn. He'll go clean your pool. He'll clean your roof and your gutters. It's like, Kyle, I just asked you to do one thing, and he just. It's a blessing and a curse of this man, but he didn't go above and beyond and go crazy on this. So Kyle's just very proud of you, even though I'm lazier than you with the high schools. I don't hyperlink the high schools like you do.
I'm just weird about some stuff, man. You want to know what my latest kick has been?
What's that, Kyle?
I've been updating all the profiles for any Notre Dame target in the 26 and 27 class as soon as they get an offer. So like the random 27 kids, they get an offer. Like Quentin Burrell, he just got an offer from Arizona State.
Oh, you're updating it?
I'm throwing on the profile. I'm so annoyed with all these on-3 profiles being outdated. And the funniest part about it is I don't even know if it's worthwhile, because this might be, depending on the on3 and Rivals integration, this might be, these recruiting profiles might be under the Rivals branding. I'm not sure. I don't even know how much we can say. I mean, I don't know. So, I was also thinking about just like finding a contact at Rivals, and just every time I see a new offer
don't do it.
I'm not. I'm just, that was something that popped into my mind.
It's funny with the whole Rivals thing.
I'm staying busy. When I'm not writing, when I'm not on the message board, I'm always doing something.
A few weeks or months ago, we did a spring cleaning. Let's get rid of a bunch of crap. I got rid of a lot of clothes. And a lot.
You got rid of all that rival stuff.
Guys, I spent 9 years at Rivals. A lot of publisher conferences. I got rid of all that Rivals crap. All of it.
You're going to need it. Go back to that Goodwill and see if you can find it.
For those who aren't aware of what we're talking about, I'll clue you in just a second. But first, we're going to hear from Augie's locker room. Look at this. This is new. Authentic Notre Dame football locker removed during stadium renovation. It says 1930 to 1996. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. How the hell does Auggie have an authentic Notre Dame football? Like, where does he get this stuff? If you're a Notre Dame fan, you got some money to spend, buy yourself an authentic Notre Dame football locker. That is so cool. You have authentic Notre Dame football tickets from 1923 when the Irish played Purdue, and that's graded by Beckett. 1930 Notre Dame versus USC, 1927 Notre Dame versus USC in Soldier Field. That is absolutely incredible. Look at the price, $3. Notre Dame replica signed jersey by Jeremiah Love. I mean, guys, got Newt Rockne stuff. Damn. Augie's locker room is seriously probably the coolest thing. The best advertiser of all time. I mean, I love looking. I mean, because this is just history that we're now talking about. So go to Augie's locker room, see the vintage helmet display dating back to 1890. Check them out, 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend, just down the street from Notre Dame. Visit augieslockerroom.com. Give Auggie a call, 574-277-6363. If you call Auggie, be nice. Don't prank call him like they did Shedeur Sanders. That story was bonkers crazy. Yeah. Augie's locker room. I wouldn't. Justin Andy Cypress said on Rivals and On 3 are merging. Well, I don't know what to call it, but On 3 bought Rivals, and what that means for a lot of different things, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that Blue and Gold is not changing. Nothing is going to be changing with Blue and Gold. Like, we still exist the same as we exist, but like some of the branding and stuff is going to be different. I think it's well known at this point, if you've been following the saga, like On 3 is going to be college football, NIL, transfer portal. Rivals is going to be your traditional high school football recruiting website, like Rivals has been for so long. So like I think like Steve Wiltfong and Chad Simmons, who are On 3 guys right now, they're technically going to be Rivals, because Rivals is going to be the home of high school football recruiting for this network. So, but what that means for individual team sites, fan sites, and everything, and I don't know. I really don't know. Joel says, I prefer Rivals. Well, thanks for your support then. It's wild. Wiltfong is the man. Well, Wiltfong works for On 3. What does this mean? Okay, Mark. So anyways, that's really all to say about that. I'm kind of just along the ride with you guys. I don't really know, but all I know is that Blue and Gold, it's business as usual. Kyle, let's move to discussing Javon Osborne announcing his commitment. Gosh, feel like we've been talking about Javon Osborne in this top 2 in the May 3rd commitment date forever, and it's almost here, Kyle. He's announcing tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know if you guys watched my video with Josh Newberg for the On 3 Recruits YouTube channel. And after Osborne commits, On 3 is going to go live and just kind of talk about the commitment. And it's my understanding they're also going to be taking callers. What exactly that means, how that's going to work, I don't know. But if he commits Notre Dame, it's going to be me on that channel. And if he commits to Michigan, it's going to be a Michigan reporter. So we'll see. But I would be happy to do that. Sounds like fun. I like experimenting on YouTube. Either works or it doesn't. But yeah, Kyle, 5'9", 195-pounder, Javon Osborne, nation's number 106 overall player, number 8 running back, top two, Notre Dame and Michigan.
Whichever program lands a pledge from Javon Osborne, I think that program is going to be getting a boost with other other recruits. There's only a couple of recruits per cycle. I don't know how many a couple is, but there's only a number of these guys every cycle that have the type of cachet that when they commit to a school, it inspires other guys to do the same. That just they have that magnetic sort of personality. And Javon Osborne is one of those guys. I know he has a lot of relationships with a lot of the top prospects in the 2026 class. Part of that is because he participated in the Under Armour All-American game back in December. Those All-America games, now they feature both high school seniors and high school juniors. Javon Osborne was one of the fortunate juniors who got to participate in that game. There was also a number of other top recruits there as well. And one thing I've understood about Osborne's recruitment is he connects really well with other recruits when he's on campuses. And he's probably unofficially visited upwards of 25. Well, he's probably unofficially visited about a dozen programs, but in total, the number of visits he's made is probably about 25 or 30. So he's getting around a lot of guys.
There's another Kyleism.
So
another Kyleism is always noting the amount of visits a kid has taken.
Yes.
I think it's hysterical. Because so many of those
and
times
the thing
the
is,
visits
it's
go
probably
unreported.
inaccurate. Yeah, it's probably inaccurate. So I got to get away from that. But I'm sure when we were talking about Javon Osborne, you didn't expect me to talk about this, but that's just the case. Like, I think, for example, Javon Osborne commits to Notre Dame. I think that's going to be a big deal in Joey O'Brien's recruitment. I do. I know Osborne and O'Brien, they have a relationship. I think we even saw it on social media. Osborne quote tweeted Joey O'Brien's
recruiting him already.
So, so I know Osborne has a number of those relationships across the class. So this is a big time recruit, not only for what he can provide on the field of Notre Dame, which you're seeing plenty of in this huddle highlight tape, but also off the field as well. Complete Notre Dame kid. Not a surprise that the Irish have invested a lot of time and energy into his recruitments to try to land him on Saturday. So we will see what happens there. That would be a big win for Jawan Sider. And all right. Hopefully my marriage goes a little bit better than that one, Mark.
Podcast audience is like, what the hell is he talking about? Mark said Osborne looks like he's got those Saquon Barkley legs. Now, he wears 26. That is such a random running back number. It's got to be a Saquon. It's got to be Saquon, right? Is that why he wears 26? Do you know?
Has to be. Because one of us should confirm with Osborne eventually, but
I thought the same thing when I put out that video of him, Kyle. Let me find it real quick. Then I just tweeted about him yesterday, so I can find this in a second. But when you watch this, look at this, Kyle. Tell me that doesn't look like Saquon. I mean, the 26 helps, but the dude's just massive.
I just texted Javian, so we'll find out.
So yeah, that's a commitment tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have full coverage of that if he picks the Fighting Irish. Kyle, that is going to wrap up today's show. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. Really appreciate you tuning in. If you're just watching now, rewind, watch from the beginning. We talked about Kobe Clapper committing to the Irish and so much more. Again, folks, thank you for making us a part of your day. And as always, we'll catch you next time.